Best conference in college football? We should get to that argument at some point. Best team in the Big Ten? Well, after week one, it might have been Penn State. Then it might have been Iowa. At one point, maybe Michigan. Michigan State took their turn. Hey, Nebraska fans, if we tack on an extra touchdown to every game, maybe you're the best team in the Big Ten. All right, let's check it out here as we enter week 11 of college football right here at the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis because of you. Please like the video, share these videos out on social media, and subscribe here at the Voice of College Football. At number 14 in our Big Ten Power Rankings, we've got Rutgers. They're 4-5. They're 1-5 in the Big Ten. They finally beat Illinois a couple weeks ago to win a conference game, but they're in the bottom spot of the Big Ten. This has been a round robin between Rutgers, Illinois, Northwestern, most notably. Okay, Rutgers looked good early. They beat Syracuse by 10 points. They started 3-0. Greg Schiano is doing a nice job, but they still have a lot of work to do. The offense just isn't there. 207 total yards against Wisconsin as they were thumped. Who thought Wisconsin could score 52 points. Then they met Rutgers, 52-3 in that one. All right, the Scarlet Knights take on Indiana coming up on the road this weekend. At number 13, we've got Northwestern. The Wildcats at 3-6, 1-5 in conference play. Pat Fitzgerald has had better seasons, of course, winning the Big Ten West 2 of the past 3 seasons. Good effort at home against Iowa, so Iowa can really not score against anyone. Nebraska put up 56 against Northwestern, Duke 30 in the first half. Iowa 17-12 winners over Northwestern. Andrew Marty, 270 yards passing and a touchdown. Unfortunately, 3 interceptions and a red zone and a end zone interception, where the Wildcats might have pulled off the upset at home. Northwestern takes on Wisconsin on the road as a 25-point underdog this Saturday. At number 12, we've got Tom Allen's Indiana Hoosiers, the most disappointing team in the Big Ten by far. 2-7, winless in the Big Ten. Why are they not last? Well, they have yet to play Northwestern or Rutgers. We will see. Maybe Indiana falls to the number 14 spot after they play and lose to Rutgers. But for right now, looking at the schedule, how well they've competed at times against the likes of Cincinnati and Michigan State, Indiana is above board there at number 12. They lost to Michigan 29-7. They had freshman quarterback Donovan McCulley in the lineup, 10 for 24 for 88 yards. He played much better statistically the week before against Maryland. Only 195 yards of total offense for this team against Michigan. They take on Rutgers. There we go. The battle for last place in the Big Ten. Rutgers, Indiana in our power rankings this Saturday. These next 2 teams, put a circle around them. Illinois, Nebraska. You can go back and forth. Nebraska's had the better resume. Illinois obviously won the Week 0 matchup 30-22. So for right now, the 2 teams have a bye. So they hold tight at number 11, Nebraska, 3-7, 1-6 in the Big Ten. The record is awful. Of course, we know the performance is much better than that. Many rankings have them in the top 30 in the country statistically. You measure the offense, the defense. Well, the special teams has been awful, but the offense and the defense, especially the D, is pretty darn good. But Nebraska continues to lose games. Close again against Ohio State. They break the 1-score loss streak, but basically it was a 1-score loss as Ohio State did not put the game away until 90 seconds left in the contest at Lincoln. Couple missed field goals were crucial in this one. Nebraska with a bye week. It's Wisconsin and Iowa to conclude the season. Scott Frost, of course, has a restructured new contract, and he's looking at 3-9. At number 10, we've got Illinois coming off a big win against Minnesota. The Illini get it done. So they've beaten Minnesota and Penn State. They've also lost to Rutgers and Charlotte. Texas San Antonio, I should say. 4-6 for Illinois. 3-4 in the Big Ten. So they need to win the final 2 to make it to bowl play. Again, they beat Minnesota, and Brandon Peters in that game, 7 of 8. So Brett Bielema is playing Bielema ball. Circa Badger, Wisconsin, 2010. Running the ball constantly, almost every play. Chase Brown had 150 yards against Minnesota. Maybe even more impressive was the Illini defense holding Minnesota under 100 yards rushing. Illinois number 10 in the Big Ten. At number 9, we've got Maryland. They beat all the bad teams They can't stand up to the good teams. They've been annihilated by Iowa and Ohio State. Most recently, Penn State, though this was a much closer game than the final score would indicate. 14-all in the fourth quarter, but Maryland makes too many mistakes. They lose this game 31-14. Talia Tagovailoa, 41 of 57 in this one. But the Maryland rushing attack, only 1.8 yards per carry in this one. They drove, listen to this, to the Penn State 10, 18, 20, and 36-yard lines and came up with 0 out of those 4 drives at the 10, 18, 20, and 36-yard lines. Maryland loses to Penn State. They've got a date with Michigan State on the road coming up this weekend. Look out for that one. At number 8, they've taken a tumble. The Iowa Hawkeyes, still in the top 20 in the nation, but number 8 in the Big Ten, 7-2, 4-2 in the conference, coming off that dreadful win against Northwestern. But every win's a good one, I guess. 17-12 after 2 consecutive losses in which they scored 7 and 7. The offense has never been figured out. There's only 3 games left in the regular season. They probably never will figure it out. Iowa's got an important date against Minnesota. They still have a chance to win the Big Ten Western Division, and they most likely are going to do it with a new starting quarterback. Alex Padilla in place of Spencer Petras this past weekend hit on 18 of 28 passes. It was the Iowa defense that got the job done with 3 interceptions, 1 in the red zone, 1 in the end zone to stave off the upset. All right, at number 7, Iowa's opponent this weekend, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. What an interesting ride for PJ Fleck's team this year, losing to Bowling Green, now losing to Illinois as well. And they've won some big games. They still have a chance to win the Big Ten Western Division at 4-2, 6-3 overall. They have been running the ball like mad, even though they've lost their 3 top running backs, using 4th and 5th stringer true freshmen. They are running for over 300 yards a game during the win streak, and then they got halted against Illinois. Tanner Morgan, he of 30 TDs and 7 picks 2 years ago. This year, 6 TDs, 7 picks. Minnesota scores just 1 measly touchdown against Illinois and losing. They got to pick it back up as they take on Iowa. PJ Fleck's 0-4 against the Hawkeyes. At number 6, we've got Purdue, the giant killers of the nation. This year and historically, as an unranked team with more top 5 wins than any team in college football. They are 6-3, 4-2, and of course knocked off Michigan State 40-29. What a game by Aiden O'Connell. Hit on 40 of 54, 536 yards and 5 TDs against Sparty. David Bell, 11 for 217, his 15th 100-yard game, breaking John Sandiford's all-time Purdue record. Purdue at the shoe to take on the Buckeyes should be an intriguing one this Saturday. At number 5, Penn State. Nittany Lions finally get off the shine, break a 2-game losing streak, and defeat Maryland with a huge effort from Jahan Dotson, 242 yards. That was a Penn State record. Sean Clifford has had to carry the offense with a running game that has been absent. Clifford, 363, 3 touchdowns. Again, the rushing attack, if that's what you want to call it, an attack. 2.8 yards per carry. Penn State is now 6-3. They've got a date against Michigan, high noon in Happy Valley. At number 4, the most improved team in the Big Ten. Really, it was just them working some things out. This has been the best defense in the conference the entire season. Wisconsin. They again control the division. They've got Northwestern coming up this week. They annihilated Rutgers 52-3 this past weekend with 579 yards of total offense. Even playing against air, Wisconsin could not have done that in September. They've taken the ball out of Graham Mertz's hands, although he did throw 3 touchdown passes this past weekend. Braylon Allen, 15 carries for $129. Wisconsin is rolling. At number 3, we've got Michigan, 8-1, coming off the Michigan State loss. They downed and dominated Indiana at home at the Big House, 29-7, gave up an early touchdown, and then took it from there. In the absence of Blake Corum, who's a bit banged up, Hassan Haskins carried it 27 times for $168. Keith McNamara back to his normal, efficient, yet pretty pedestrian self. 10 of 18 coming off the enormous Michigan State effort in which he showed us his ceiling, and that could be important down the stretch. Michigan at number 3 in our Big Ten rankings with the date at Penn State. At number 2, despite the loss this past weekend, they hold steady at 2. Michigan State. They still control their own destiny in the Big Ten Eastern Division. They've got Maryland coming up this weekend. They're 8-1. Kenneth Walker still had a big day against Purdue, 146 yards, but the pass defense was atrocious. Mel Tucker, did he allow the emotional letdown against Purdue? You make the call. Purdue's a good team. I don't believe it was a lack of effort or focus or looking ahead for Michigan State, but they now have a 3-game season at 8-1, and one of those games coming up against Ohio State, the number 1 team in the Big Ten. Didn't necessarily play like it most of Saturday against Nebraska, winning 26-17. They again bogged down in the red zone. This is going to have to be fixed for the Buckeyes, especially if they make a college football playoff. Too many empty possessions and field goals in the red zone. 4 of them and 2 empty possessions in the red zone coming up on Saturday against Nebraska. C.J. Stroud had to throw 54 times, or Ryan Day dialed up 54 passes. They need to run the ball more. Only 30 rushes. Jackson Smith, Najigba with a historic day, 240 yards receiving. The Buckeyes and the Boilers, fascinating game at the Shoe on Saturday. And those are our Big Ten rankings. Let's run them down. Ohio State number 1, Michigan State 2, Michigan 3, Wisconsin, Penn State, Purdue, Minnesota at 7, Iowa, Maryland, Illinois, Nebraska, Indiana's at number 12, followed by Northwestern and the poor Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Your thoughts below down here at the Voice of College Football. Leave those comments and please subscribe, hit that like button, and we will see you next time.